He talked, and I was like, is he going to say something, or are we going to sit here in awkward silence? Go ahead, I'm sorry, I won't cut in this time.
Keep it real.
Right. Welcome back to Twisted Ignition. I'm Rick.
I'm Mike. I'm Nate. If you can't tell, we're not at Twisted Ignition Shop. We're with Chad. Hi, guys. So we are working on Chad's truck today, and I think he would probably be best on explaining on what we're doing to it today.
Yeah, so 'tis the season. It's a 2005 GMC 3500 gas, and we got frame fixing to do. Rod and cross member. You guys did on Rick's truck in the back. We're doing the front fuel tank one on mine.
Yes, if you didn't see that video, we did the back one on my truck, cleaned up the frame. He's actually just happens to be doing the same exact thing. So let's get on with work.
Yeah.
So I bought this truck a little bit ago to replace my extremely rotted plow truck. Wanted to have a quick weekend, take the bed off and put my flatbed on, and that's when I started finding all the problems. So took the factory bed off, removed the fuel tank, straps, lines, all the wiring harness, and now I got it down to this point. So our next step, we got to take the shock off. I already removed the exhaust, but you can just disconnect that from the hanger. We're going to mark the new cross member plates on the side, cut this out, plasma cut the pieces out of the frame, all in the mill.
All right, so I see you already did that front cross member there.
Yeah, I found another surprise. When I pulled the bed off, this front fuel tank cross member was in two pieces. And
Wow.
Yeah, she gone. Definitely time to replace this.
So this cross member here, it's held in with 2 bolts and 2 rivets. You can see a little bit on the cross member. I torched off the rivets, hit them through with the air hammer, and then the new cross member just bolts in place.
So that's pretty simple.
Yeah, nice, quick, simple fix. If you don't have a torch to cut the rivets off, you can use a cut-off wheel or even an air hammer with a chisel bit to get rid of that.
All right, so let's get to work on this. I can see there's a hole right where, if you watched our video, I had the exact same hole. We patched ours with a piece of pipe, and because the rest of mine was pretty solid, but this one's, he's going to change the whole thing because he doesn't want to work on it again. I guess we're going to let Chad work all by himself because it's his truck.
Yeah.
We'll step in when he needs it.
Step 1, done.
We got instructions, believe it or not. Not that we really need them, but we have them just in case. Oh, don't tear the pages off. Instruction 1. We already did that. Inspect your cross member. Well, ours is shot.
Yep.
Inspected and failed.
And failed. So the first thing we're going to do is put some brackets on the side and mark them out. You want to show them, Chad?
Alright, so safety first. These are the new outer frame rail brackets. What we're going to do, set them into place. There's little notches at the top and the bottom to mark the center line of the tube, and then we're going to trace out the exterior. So to start, I'm going to remove this parking brake cable hanger, and we're going to take a quick wire brush so we have a nice clean surface so we can see our marks.
I got to say, I see that you got the professional safety glasses on while you're working.
Yes, we do.
Whoa.
That's the way to do it.
So we're going to line this up, get it as centered as we can. Make our first mark with a scribe. Same thing here at the bottom.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. And when you're done, have your mark at the top, mark at the bottom, back and forth. The last thing to do, find a reference point. So we're going to use this hole.
Is that hole on both sides of the frame?
It is on both sides. But we're going to measure both sides anyway. So we're going to take a measurement. We are 5 inches to the start of the pipe. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to go ahead and cut the cross member out. Same thing, we're going to roughly measure it up by hand or by eye. Make our marks.
Right. Can you grab us a pen out of said garage or out of the office?
Yep.
Our back line, our bottom line, and our center lines. Just to check, because this, I don't want to assume it's the same from side to side. Broken tape measures. And we are at 5 3/16. If your front cross member was in 2 pieces like mine was, make sure you replace that first to keep everything in line with the frame. But let's get cutting.
Those Diablo blades are amazing.
Yeah, carbide teeth Diablo blade.
Woo!
Wow.
Oh God, maybe you should have shook that outside.
That more came out too.
That's great.
Well, now there's a gaping hole there.
Yeah, so now we're gonna get the plasma cutter out, start cutting around where it's welded, so we can go ahead and get the rest of the pieces out of the frame.
If you don't have a plasma cutter, you do have a cutoff wheel.
Cutoff wheel, torches,
Whatever you can use to cut it.
whatever you can come up with.
Mike, you got those instructions here. Let's show them.
So right here, this is where the old one was. You got to oblong this hole right here to between 3/4 and 1.5 inches, so the new cross member can fit in correctly.
And it helps you slide it in because you're going to slide it on an angle.
Right, and Chad's getting ready to do that right now.
We're gonna get rid of all the old stuff first, and then we'll worry about making our oblong holes where they need to be.
Sorry. It's all right. Cameraman's used to it. How's that arm feel, Nate?
Wow, some burnt hairs there.
Probably have a glove there.
You grab a hammer.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
Now, do the same thing on the other side.
Plastic cutters are so nice for this kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Did you just burn yourself?
No, almost dropped it though. It's hot.
So the outside's the same way. When we go to cut the inside, there's a couple more brackets here. So the hole's gonna be a little bit different. We gotta cut around the tube and then cut around that bracket as well.
Just so you know, I'm leaning on this really hot piece of metal right here. Woo!
You good?
Almost burnt the tummy. And here's the two men that, if you're looking in the background, were mesmerized by the glowing light. You should have seen your two faces. It was like full on staring.
It was like mosquitoes. Like got rid of the light. We're learning here, you know.
Now, are you using a drag tip on that thing?
Yep.
That makes it a little bit easier. You don't got to keep away. Just drag it across where you need it. Beautiful. You were almost too short to reach that.
I was. I still got it.
Still got it.
Hey, how blind are you right now?
I'm actually not too bad. I was looking through the camera. You guys were the ones that were staring at it like mosquitoes.
Well, I wasn't really staring at the fire tip flame there, but still.
Hey, you got me a few times. I was like, oh, well.
Yeah, how's your hand? Because I seen you.
Yeah, that got, you know,
I-
cameraman can't flinch.
I got impressed. You like didn't flinch at all.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, but still.
Here for the win. All right, we want to test fit this. It's got to go in at an angle like this and slide in.
But we're hitting a problem over there. It's too far back, and this we just went and cut around to get the old tube out. So this is exactly where they were saying in the instructions where we'd need to oblong the hole about a 1/2 inch to an inch out so we could get our angle with this tube far enough forward to slide it over into
Yeah,
this.
how far is it catching here?
About a 1/2 inch. It's in there pretty good yet.
Yeah, I see
so.
that. Yep.
So once we oblong that hole, hopefully it'll slide right in. We'll give it another test fit.
And when you're test fitting it, make sure this plate's not welded on, but make sure this plate's on so you feel exactly how much room you have. Because it will change with just this little bit of a plate.
So we have our vertical line here of how far back our plate is. We obviously need to leave room for welding. We don't want to cut too far. So we're going to take this back approximately somewhere between an inch, inch and a half. So the size of the hole, it's pretty close to a 4.5 inch grinding disc. So we're going to go back about an inch. We'll set our grinding disc there. And that'll give us a rough circle that we can go ahead and cut out with the plasma cutter.
That weld through primer you got there, Chad?
It certainly is. Hopefully we can prevent some of this in the future by taking a couple minutes now and getting it all set up.
All right. Did your welder know how to switch and turn it off?
It's on the back. So, all right, we'll give this a second to dry, set it in, and then we'll start welding.
Who's do? You welded it, not made it tighter?
Seems like we're hitting something over here. Actually, just looking down this tube, it is not cut very square, and that could be a lot of our problem. We'll see, we shorten it up just a hair. Don't take off too much because you still need to make sure there's enough sticking out so you can weld it. So we're just gonna take off like a 1/16 of an inch.
Or the other one, maybe.
That didn't make any difference. Made a difference for him.
Right there? Oh, yeah. See, that's the angle.
Right there, Chad. Right.
The cameraman's got you.
The cameraman can.
Boom goes the dynamite. Just enough sticking through there to weld. Plenty on this side, so we'll be good. Now what we're gonna do is take our plates. We're gonna clamp the outer plate using our marks at the right spot. We're gonna tack weld it this side. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And then we're gonna slide the cross member through the plates, align it, making sure it's level, and then we'll go ahead and tack that through the plates and get everything tacked together. Now we're gonna bring the welder over, give it a couple tackaroonies. All right, and now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So what we need to do here, we have our upper mark in this plate where our center line is. We're gonna have that same mark on the tube for where our center is. We're gonna make sure that these are in line. We can get a square so we can do that up. So you can look in there, straight across. We're gonna look at the hole. For the 5 inches, this needed to be just back just a hair more. So we're gonna go ahead and make some more tacks and keep on moving on. So the issue we're running into on here, not a big issue, but with the plate that was welded on from the factory is not square to the tube. So I'm just using clamps so we can pull it in and get it a lot closer to the frame rail. So it'll weld a lot nicer with less gaps. We have a lot of tension on here right now, so I'm gonna use the sledgehammer, give it a couple of hits, So it'll start working this plate, taking some of that tension, and then releasing it so it'll stay a little bit square to the frame.
Tight.
And with just that little bit of banging around, you could see that plate came in right against the frame now.
It's a good key whenever you're doing any type of metal working. When you start getting tension in the metal, using a hammer, you want to release that tension one way or another. Usually hitting on it's the best way though.
Okay.
Oh, much better.
Oh,
Hey, buddy. Snap on. Oh, it's useless. Thank God.
Our marks are still square across. The gaps in the plate on 3 sides are nice and tight. There's a little spot where the fuel tank strap is going to bolt to that there's a little bit of it more gap than I would like. But it's unfortunately just the way it's welded. We're not going to uncut this or cut it all apart and re-weld it. So we'll just end up filling that gap with weld and it should be fine from there out. We're going to throw a couple tacks on this inner plate and then on the outer where the tube comes through. And then we're going to go to that side, clamp the inner plate, tack it, and then we can sit down and start fully welding it in. Let's start tacking. As long as your gas tank strap points are looking level to the frame, so when the gas tank goes in, the strap's going to be perpendicular to it. The outside, everything's lined up to your marks. We're going to tack in these last couple tacks, and we can start welding.
Nice. Yep, look right at it.
Alright, just got to give those a second to cool down. And start welding it in.
Well, that was quite a bit of welding, but it's all burned in and it looks great.
She's solid now. And according to our instructions here, weld in is the last instruction. So I guess we don't gotta attach anything else. We're all done.
That's what it said. So, but no, we're gonna put the shocks on, put the fuel tank back in. I got a new fuel pump going with it. Mount my, remount my flatbed from my old truck onto this truck and be ready before the snow starts coming any day now.
Yeah, how about it? But at least the cross members in, everything's good to go. If you guys have any questions, let us know. And I think that's it for tonight.
Thank you, Chad, for doing this job. A lot of people got some valuable info out of it. I know I did, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys on the next shenanigans.
Later. See ya.